Are you ready to take control of your destiny? Welcome to Prosperous AF.
We're Amber and Francine, and we're on a mission to empower minority entrepreneurs just like you.
This podcast is your guide to navigating the exciting, sometimes crazy world of business ownership.
And in the second episode, turning what ifs into let's do, we're getting down to the brass tacks. We're exploring what it really takes to be an entrepreneur and helping you decide if this is the right path for you.
We'll be sharing our own experiences, offering practical advice, and keeping it real every step of the way.
So if you're ready to unlock your potential and build a prosperous future, let's get started.
So I want to share with you my what if moments because I have a lot of them. So I think one of the first what if moments began a while back when actually my husband was the one who was kind of putting that in my head. Like, you know, what if you created a blog when blogging was huge? And then surrounding that, there were a lot of what ifs in my head. Like, you know, what if I did do this? How am I going to do it? I think that was the biggest question in my mind. And I never actually, I did create a blog, but did I actually sit down and write? No. Because probably fear of whatever it is. So there's always what if moments, you know, and honestly, I have moments of what if I succeed, and you know, try to imagine that so that can propel you forward in what if this is actually something that's going to work. And let me tell you, I have fear around that too. Around success. What if I'm successful and I have to keep going? So it's hard. You know, you're always going to face the fear of something because it's unknown, right? I think that's what we're talking about is what if, because you don't know what is happening or what's going to happen. So that's the beginning of it. But you know, along the way, it's been a lot of what ifs, and then just taking small step towards, you know, you have an idea, and you know the idea spark, and if you take the smallest little action, you'll slowly get there. You'll take baby steps towards the goals that you have, and creating something out of the ideas that you have in your brain.
Absolutely. And Mine's is similar. I have what if moments probably every hour on the hour. And mine's are both positive and negative, right? Of like, what if I don't succeed? What if I do? What does that look like? Like, you always see how people grind and grind and grind in their business, and how people tell you sometimes success comes with more work because you want to, you know, go to the next step and the next step. And it's like, am I really ready for the next step? Because that seems like a lot more than I'm already doing. So for me, my what ifs are also surrounded by action, right? Actionables, because it's like you have people that care about you and love you, and kind of when you're talking and just about some of the things that are in your head and that idea spark, they're like, well, do it. I know you can do it. Like, why haven't you done it? What if you do it? And just having that encouragement around you, but then also having kind of the self-doubt and some of just like the negative attributes that you have, like for me, starting things and not being able to finish them. I have heard from friends, my husband, loved ones, my mother, like siblings, everyone, like, you would be a billionaire right now if you would just finish some of these things. Like, you start things because you're so lit up about it, you're so interested in it, and then it falls by the wayside because it dwindles. And the motivation just goes away. And I have this, and I know we're talking about business, but in so many different aspects of my life, it's like, I get so psyched, right, about exercising when I got the Peloton. And then it's like, I'm doing it every day. I'm biking in the garage and I'm looking crazy. And then one day I'm sitting and I'm like, I really don't want to do that today. And then it's like, oh, okay, you don't have to do that today. You'll start tomorrow. And then it's like, I really don't want to do it today either. And just like that procrastination bug that I suffer from. Because I have so many ideas and I'm really good at acting on them right away, but then it's like, and it dwindles. The energy dwindles and the motivation dwindles. So my what ifs are very much so segmented, and they're very much so dependent on my energy level and my motivation around them. And that's something that I know I have to work on because I have really good ideas. And I know my capabilities are endless, but I just have to be able to get over the hump of procrastination.
Guess what?
What?
I have a solution for that.
What?
It's called systems.
And checklists. And systems and decision trees.
We'll talk about that on a different episode.
Yeah.
But I think that you're not always going to be motivated, right, to take action. You are going to get that spark, but then there is going to be the day you're just like, I don't feel like doing this. Nah. And it will come.
And the ladies' theory that you shared with me, that 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, yeah.
Is
the 5-second rule.
I've been using it in my brain.
Yeah. How's that working for you?
It's working.
Good.
Because it's like, once you decide to do it and you're in it now, it's like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, it's fine. Like, and you start to enjoy it, but just getting over that initial, I don't wanna, is what I struggle with because I usually cave in. Yeah. To that energy, and I'm getting to a place where it's like, nope, just do it. Like, get up now. Like, literally in my head, my voice in my head. That's what it says. It's like, get up and do it right now.
Yeah.
Like, go.
Do you call yourself Francine?
I do.
Get up.
Yes.
Okay, I do this. Amber, get up.
Because it's like another person.
Yes.
Inside of you telling you, like, no, go do it. Like,
we could talk about alter egos.
We could talk about alter egos.
We're not going to get into that today.
But those were my what ifs. Just being very scared of fear. Yeah. And like I know we talked about this last episode, but rejection as well. Yeah. And just like I don't know, man. Right. It's an idea in my head, but is it really gonna work? Is it really gonna come to fruition the way I see it? Because sometimes we see something a certain way, and the idea that we have is gonna work, but it's not gonna work in that exact way that we picture it. And it's like, no, I pictured it this way. I want it to go this way, but then that's when we get the adjustment factor, right? And just navigating through those things is kind of when you can succumb to those but what if moments.
Well, I think it comes, you have to have resilience, and you have to be willing to have things not work before they will work, because you won't know until you do something, right? So some of the things that we're talking about is you're turning your what ifs into actually doing something. So if you don't start doing something, you're just going to continue to say what if in your head, what if, without actually taking action. And I think that is a cycle that a lot of people get in, is they just start off, we're not the only ones with ideas, right? But it is the taking action that is the scary part, and maybe not even knowing where to start.
And one of the most crucial parts of the process. Because without action, it's still just an idea. So.
Well, and I think one of the very first things that you should do is maybe write down some of these things, because our brains go into these ruminating circles, and it's very hard to stop sometimes to say what if what if I fail, what if I succeed, and I don't know this, I don't know that. Well, just do a brain dump too, and just get it out of your head, and then you can start going through it and say nope, I don't like that idea anymore. Just have it sit for a little bit. Have it just a notebook, or even notes on your phone, just to kind of get the ideas out of your brain and start ideating some of these things that you have.
I think that I in my own experience, and I feel like people sometimes can resonate with this, what if moments arise when you're in a position and there's no out, right? For me, I think I get my what ifs, especially surrounding business, because my motivating factor is I want to be in a place better than this. I want to be in a position in life that's better than the current position I'm in, which usually boils down to finances. Mm-hmm. Then you start thinking, like, is this thing that I'm doing working for me financially? And a lot of my business ideas are financially motivated. Mm-hmm. I want to be financially free. I want to not exchange time for money. I want to have freedoms and flexibilities in my life to do what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I want to have enough money to do what I want to do. Am I ever going to get there working a 9-to-5?
Most likely not.
And for me, that's absolutely no. Absolute no. So that's where I am most triggered in my what if moments of like, what if I start this business and what does this business look like? It's financially motivated for me. Mm-hmm. And I encourage people to pay attention to those moments because especially when you have a backing or a motivation that's financially backed up, I feel like you ignite even more motivation into that because it's like, I really want to get to this place of freedom, right? And you're chasing the goose. Mm-hmm. The goose is freedom. Mm-hmm. Money freedoms, time freedoms, and you're chasing a goose and you want to get there. So you're like, I need to move. Yeah. I need to move on it. I need to do the actionable part of this thing. And for some people, it may not be financially motivated. It may be inspirational, based on your likes and what you're passionate about, your passions. It may be alleviating a problem that you feel there's not a lot of problem solving in that market or in that area. For example, yesterday when we were looking for audios, and it's like, I'm on Google. There should be a list of this stuff somewhere, but it's like, to me, that's a problem. So in my head, it's like, how can I solve this problem so the next person doesn't go through what we went through, which is like 30 pages of Google pages looking for one thing that we still didn't find. Right. And just being able to understand that. But that's just me. What are your thoughts?
I think the thing that motivated me to start thinking about, the what if about entrepreneurship was the time freedom. And also looking into how I work as an employee. And I work really hard. I'm pretty loyal when it comes to my work. And I want my things to be correct. And I will work very hard in order for things to be correct and for people to be happy. And I think that was one of the what ifs that arose is, what if I worked this hard in my own business? How far could I get? Because I'm working for somebody else and they're getting the fruits of my labor. What if I did this and, could work even twice as hard at my own thing? Now that does bring up, the question of, okay, well, how do I start this? But I think that was one of the sparks in me was, what if I worked this hard at my own business? How far could I get? But that was the time freedom for me, and having the time with my family and driving my kids this way, that way, and all other ways, to soccer practice and not having a commute, Although I really did like my commute because that's when I listened to my podcasts. But those are important. Some of the annoying things that do come with a commute, right? And especially in the snow in Minnesota. So those were some of the everyday things that were happening that motivated me.
What would you say to the person, the viewer, the listener, when it comes to suppressing those ideas? Because there are people who allow the thought to process through and to come out and they think about it, but then there's a whole nother demographic who suppress it and who don't encourage it and who puts it at the back of their mind. What would you say to that person who doesn't really feel the need to act on that what if idea or that idea spark that's coming, and it's just like, nah, I'm comfortable where I am.
You may need to surround yourself with more people who have a mindset that's in the entrepreneurial world. I know whoever you surround yourself with is pretty much how you're going to think. Like, that's not always a guarantee, right? But what is that quote? The 5 people that are around you. I don't know. Don't quote me. But anyways, it is the people that you surround yourself with are the people that are going to either bring you down or they're going to raise you up. And so if you have these ideas of what ifs and what it would look like and what do I even need to do, because there's probably a ton of questions on how to even get started. I would say, I always suggest start with a podcast. Start with YouTube, the University of YouTube. I will always,
virtual mentor.
Yeah, and exactly, the virtual mentor. Somebody, you don't even have to ask permission for somebody to, or even ask for this person to mentor you. You can just consume whatever. I mean, there's just so much content out there. What we're doing right now. There's so much free content out there. Never before have we had all this content. So in my opinion, I don't think that there's any excuses to not get started. There's just so much content on how to do this, how to do that. But what I've said before to somebody is just open up an email account. So go to Google, go to Gmail, open up an email account and make that your business email. It doesn't even have to be, a URL at this point. Just find a Gmail and then start your research, start writing things down and start getting some, some knowledge, business knowledge in your head, and you'll get there. You'll start getting, you'll start going places.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're actually challenging you all to identify 3 what ifs that you've had recently. Write them down, brain dump them, and then see what actionables you can take on each one of those what ifs.
We want to hear about it.
We do.
Yeah.
Put it in the comment section. Send it to us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn.
Send us a message.
We're on all the socials. And we can select a few and talk about them on our next episode.
Yes. I would be so excited to do that.
Perfect, yeah. That would be great.
Yeah.
So what would you say the crucial steps are for someone who wants to take action?
Yeah. So after you've written down some of these ideas, some of these, things that you're just like, you found a gap in the market and you're like, I think that I could maybe solve this problem.
And this is writing it down on a piece of paper, not with the shower crayon. Or the shower crayons, but just make sure you transfer it over to something that's more permanent.
To a piece of paper.
Yes.
But I like to keep notes in my phone as well. In fact, I use Notion a lot. I have a scratch pad in Notion that I use when an idea will come up, out of the blue, and I'll just write it down. Just type it in, and maybe I'll come back to it, and maybe I won't. But for those ideas that you get and you say, well, what if I can turn this into something. I think that one of the first things that you need to do is you need to validate that idea. And some of the options out there in order to say, is this going to work, is actually talking to potential customers. And that would be, and I know I've done this with, friends, acquaintances, and I've said, I'm thinking about doing this, travel business, and people are like, oh yeah, that's great, and you start gathering some information, right? And make sure you write that down too, because that's important to know what your potential customer will like. And then you could also do some surveys. So you could, I know Google Forms is out there. You could create a form. You could even just send out an email. with maybe 3 different questions on it to friends and family. You could even find some businesses within the niche that you're trying to work in and send them an email. You might not get a lot of responses, but if you do, that would be great. You know, you could, but idea gathering at this point, idea validation at this point is your biggest goal. And then a competitive analysis. So go online and go research, you know, who your competitors are, what their websites look like, you know, what kind of marketing are they doing, what kind of social media, what, you know, digital marketing things they're doing, and take note of that and see what's out there already. So, like I said, there's a lot that you can be doing with this research on your competitors and seeing what they're doing. So
also finding holes in your competitors' market.
Sure.
Because as much as we think, you know, bigger businesses or businesses that are within our niche that are competitors of ours can fulfill all the needs of what the market is looking for, sometimes they do fall short in certain aspects. And those are good talking points and good highlight areas for you to be able to gain business and to market yourself in a different light or a different way. Just understanding like, well, this is the gap in the market. I know, because when you get into the sales point and you're talking with potential clients, they're going to ask you what you do differently. Why you? And being amped and equipped with that information can be the difference between them selecting your business to do whatever it is that they want you to do or selecting the next business. Just working with you has made me understand the importance of research and the importance of the analytic part of business, understanding what's in the market, understanding your demographic, understanding your niche in whole, so that when you do start entertaining these conversations, you're able to verbalize and construct what it is exactly you would be doing and the benefits of someone paying you money for a service. So just a little insight, I think, of where I've come to learn and identify that these researches are important, especially when you're coming into a business that's a lot more competitive, as we are. There's a lot of consulting agencies, but we were able to identify this is where these agencies fall off. This is a demographic that they don't engage with as much, and we don't see a lot of representation for. So this will be our focus. And sometimes that's what it is. It's not just that the market is competitive. It's okay, where do your competitors lack? And how can you alleviate that lack? And even the need of the gap in that market. Is there a crucial need in being able to capitalize off that?
And I think that even if somebody's already doing something like a podcast or a YouTube channel, there's never another you, right? So that gives you competitive, edge on, doing the thing, because I've heard so many people say, well, there's already a podcast on this. Well, I mean, look at how many there are, and people still keep creating podcasts and YouTube channels.
And there's no law of you just watching one.
Right. Yeah, we consume, how many, oh my goodness, I consume a lot of podcasts.
You do.
So I'm not going to be like, I'm only going to listen to this one podcast and stop, so don't limit yourself on, even if somebody else is in that market already, there's only one you, and nobody's going to do it just like you.
Yeah, and I would like to just emphasize the importance of starting small, and I don't even like to use the word small. Starting manageable. Starting in a space that your schedule allows. Because some people aren't free of time, right? They have other things going on. They have jobs. So just being able to start in a space where you can take the little actionables, do the research from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock if you're working in the day, and then start building on that and building on that and building on that, because I feel like sometimes a lot of people think that you have to do all these things at once, and then you overwhelm yourself, and then that's when your what if collapses.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
and
now
motivation stops.
Yes.
Because you're overwhelmed.
Yes, you're overwhelmed, and you're like, I've taken on too much. Yeah. I've already started reaching out to people, and I don't have like a baseline. So just setting and establishing that foundation is key and instrumental to be able to take the next leap. And what I've seen that we've been doing just with the Prosperous AF brand and company is like, okay, these are the essentials of what we need to go out and network, to go out and communicate with people, to launch the podcast. These are what we need because we want the business and we want a brand.
Right.
We want those two things to coincide and be built side by side. So what are the essentials of that? What do we need right now? Okay, we need a system that we can collab in. We need business cards and we just little in the email address because we want to be branded. Right. We want not just a generic thing. We want this brand to coincide with the business. We need a website because we want people to be able to contact us and to book us and all these things. We need Calendly. So just the foundational steps of these are the essentials right now. We create action surrounding the essentials, and then as we go, we tune and we tweak.
Yep, that's right.
And I know this is something that you used to do prior to us in our partnership, is just wanting everything to be perfect and ready to go.
Before
starting to do something. And it's like, we need the feedback of the people and that we interact with.
I've learned that.
And we can acquire that while still hitting the ground running. So I think that's kind of somewhere I've helped you grow.
Oh, for sure. And that's what's taken some time, right? It's taken me time in order to realize that things don't have to be perfect. And as much as somebody has already said that to me, or I've learned it along the way, is things don't have to be perfect before you just talk to somebody. And it's taken me some time to realize that. And now I am more just like, let's just get it out there and do it, and we'll fix it when we, or even make it better or refine it later on down the road.
But I just think that has to do with your system-based mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless, because like you said, you have worked at places that, and you've given it your all. You've perfected what you're doing, and you want to put your best. You want to present your best. You want to alleviate mistakes and be able to do the job to the best of your ability. And I think you bring that into business as well. It's like, I want this to present well, and that's okay. 100% okay. We are by no means telling you to go do sloppy work and go and jump in front of people and network. But just managing the foundation and understanding, this is the best I can do now. And as I grow, I will be provided feedback. I myself will identify things that need to be tweaked and tuned over time. So giving yourself that grace to be like, I know this isn't like an A1 website right now, but as I continue to go out and network and see other examples and communicate with people, I will know, okay, maybe we tweak and tune this because it's a functionality that'll help this run smoother. And I was like that too. I mean, I think I just got to the point where it's like, just do it. And you've helped streamline me into, okay, if we're going to do this, then the systems need to be in place. Because I will just create the logo, and jump on Facebook and be ready to talk to people and not have a clue what to do on the back end and probably cause confusion. So it's just been that us understanding the different foundations we bring to piece the whole foundation together and us agreeing like, we just gotta go. We just gotta move on it. We gotta hit the ground running on
And we have gotten so far.
So far.
We've gotten really far.
Far.
With being partnered up. So it was
networking and just what we're doing here with you all and the website. And it's like, I feel like we've been working on this for 6 months, but in reality, it's been a month.
Yeah.
It's been just 1 month, I think.
But we've been pretty persistent.
We've been persistent.
Because we had a passion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a passion. And I think that is one of the things that you have to have with some of this is you have to have a passion for whatever you're going to, don't just chase the money bag.
Yep.
You have to be able to have a passion for it because you will burn out and then you will just become uninterested. And then it'll just fizzle out. When you were getting started in your business, what were some of the ways that you bootstrapped your business? Like, what were some of the first steps that you took in order to get started that you're like, okay, I can't afford that right now, but I'm going to take this step in order to just get going?
So the first couple things I did, well, I know I told you the story recently with the trucking business, right? That was like a huge what if to me because Omar had decided he wanted to do trucking, and it's like, yep, cool, find a company that you can truck with or whatever, because we were doing non-CDL trucking and we didn't want to do OTR, which is over the road. I wanted him to be local so I wouldn't be at home with the kids and a baby and he be all the way in Timbuktu not coming back for the next 3 or 4 days. And so we're like, okay, let's do that. So we got on Indeed and we found a company. And he went to go meet the company and they ran his license and all this stuff. And I kept asking him, I'm like, oh, what did he say about pay? Like, what is he going to pay you? And he's like, he didn't tell me anything. He just told me, like, he already has a load for me. He wants me to go to Maryland, East Coast Maryland, on Sunday. And this was like Friday.
Oh my
And I'm
goodness.
just like, did you sign a contract? Like, did he give you paperwork? Like, and he's like, no, he didn't. He didn't give me anything. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. And so we called him and I'm like, well, call him because you need paperwork and we need to know how much you're going to be paid. And so we called him and he talked to him and I'm there in the background and he's just like, yeah, you know, I pay very fairly. Like all the other drivers can tell you I pay fairly. And it's like, okay, what is fairly?
Yeah.
Like, you have to give us a number.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
he's not a single guy just going all around the globe. We need to make sure that this makes sense for our family or else we find something else. And he's just like, yeah, you know, I have the truck and you'll be using my truck and blah, blah, blah. And I pay fairly. I promise you. I can't give you an exact number right now, but I pay really fairly. And I'm like, something about this ain't right.
Yeah.
It's not right. So I told him, I said, block him. You're not going to Maryland on Sunday. Block his number. And he blocked it.
You blocked the
He
number?
blocked him. He blocked him and he blew him up so much. And I'm like, thank you for not asking for paperwork and like putting my number as an emergency contact because we're not talking to you ever again.
Right. That
so
sounds
we blocked
shady.
him. It was very shady.
Yeah.
And then that's when we were laying in bed and I was like, what does it take to start a box trucks company? What are the qualifications and the licenses and what do we need? And so I got onto YouTube University and I'm like, how to start a box truck company. Literally on like a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I called him over and I'm like, come watch this. And we're watching this couple who had just started and they were, you know, getting started into the business. They told us like all the steps, how you need to file for your operating authority through the FMCSA or whatever. And we're like, okay, that's $300. And this was right around tax time. So we had a tax refund that had come and we were down to like our last $6,000. And then it's like, well, you need a truck. And if you don't have a truck, because trucks are expensive right now, you rent a truck. So it's like, how much to rent a budget 26-foot truck?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, budget is a little cheaper because if you go to Enterprise or all these other things, you have to put a $5,000 deposit down. It's like, no. We're not going to use our last little bit of savings just for a truck deposit.
Yeah.
So then we got budget, because budget was a $1,200 deposit at the time, and it's like, okay, it's only 13 cents a mile. So just breaking down those different things, and you have to, apparently when you drive a truck, you have to pay money up front for all the different states because of the wear and tear on the road. So we had to do that licensing, and then we had to get insurance. Mind you, trucking insurance is very expensive. You have to pay a deposit, but good old Progressive was the cheapest option at that time because they're the ones that are utilized the most. Got the trucking insurance, the rental, put it on the rental, and then you get approved for your MC or your operating authority within 30 days. But you have to get the insurance to be approved. Because apparently there was a whole bunch of people out here in the 90s and early 2000s driving trucks with no insurance, causing damages and killing people. So they will always report to the federal government that you have insurance. So once they get that report from the insurance company, then you're good to go. We got in at a good time where a lot of companies were willing to take a risk with you if you had a new operating authority. So I was out there on the phone like, give us a chance. We'll take it for you for a discounted rate, which is how we were able to kind of gather referrals, which are very important in the trucking world because they want to talk to somebody who you carried a load for before. Did you pick it up? Was there damages? Did you drop it off on time? So on and so forth. And this was during COVID, so there was a lot of business going around, a lot of trucking needs, and then we were like, oh, we can partner with Amazon. And then we figured that we had to up our limits because, you carry millions of dollars for Amazon and on those pallets. And then that's how we got into the Amazon carrier partnership, and we've been in it for going on 4 years now. Those were the steps I took. YouTube University was one of them. Understanding how much money do I need in total to really be able to start this business, especially since we didn't have $15,000 to go buy a truck. And then to keep it going long term, we identified, okay, yes, budget is a cheaper option for renting, but eventually we're going to have to buy because we're paying. Most of our profit is going to the rental, and that's not going to work, which was really good profit at the time. So it's like, now we need to start looking for a truck. And at that time, trucks were so expensive. I'm talking 2005 truck, you would probably pay like $30,000 for it. It was ridiculously overpriced. And then as the market started to crash a little bit, truck prices started dropping. So then we're like, it's the perfect time. And then that's how we ended up buying our first truck. So that market research was important. Understanding the competition was equally important because at that time there wasn't a lot of box trucks carriers at that point in Minnesota. It was more lucrative down south because, good old Snowda.
Right.
A lot of people don't feel comfortable driving heavy machinery in the winter time. So we got into it when it was less competitive. So understanding the competitive market, and then also understanding this is what we need to invest, this is what we need to save to be able to eliminate this huge expense that was cutting into our profit, is the resources that I use. YouTube was a huge resource for me because there's so many videos, and I thank you all who document your journey when it comes to trucking, because it's literally like, boom, this is the form, they go through it with you, this is what you put, this is what you say, everything step by step on YouTube. But it worked, and we were able to follow it step by step, and we got our operating authority within 30 days. A lot of people come to me now because they don't know how to do the process, and they don't utilize YouTube University as much as I do. So just, the internet is your friend.
Yes.
It is your friend, and there's a lot of resources on the internet, whether it be a vlog, whether it be an article, whether it be a list through ChatGPT, to just be able to help you get organized.
Yes. And even as we were Googling things yesterday, right? I put in something and it gave me completely different results. And I was like, try this. And it gave, it ended up being our solution for our editing software. So just try to Google things different ways. And now I don't even think anybody has any excuses with there's AI, with ChatGPT. There's so many options that, the options are endless.
Which is the only AI I will ever use in my life, full disclosure.
There's so many out there now, but, AI and ChatGPT, and now Google's Gemini. There's just the sky's the limit with what you can do. You know, I'm even doing some market research for us on ChatGPT and just saying, can you please even give me some local businesses that I may be able to talk to, you know, to reach out to. And so it will read the internet, the whole internet so fast.
Save time.
So fast. It just
save a lot of
time. Right.
A lot of old school marketing or old school research that you would do, you can alleviate that time stretch with ChatGPT because it scans everything and spits information out at you in less than a minute.
So fast.
So quickly. Yeah. And you don't have to go through every single web page or go through list and list of information. You could throw the prompts in there, expect an answer, and then from answers that are relevant, you can be able to do a little bit more in-depth analysis, which saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of the man work, so you can actually get to the meat of what it is that you're looking for.
Yeah, you just have to get some momentum going.
Overcoming fear. What are some examples of just fears that you, and I know this. I know a lot of these. But for the viewers out there, what are some fears that you would say you navigated through?
Oh man, and I still have fears. But I think one of the things is fear of success, which sounds really strange. Is that what if this works? And I have to continue showing up because I feel like I just kind of got something out of the blue, and what if I have to recreate that, you know? And it is sometimes fear of hard work too, because you're just like, maybe I'm not feeling it today. You know, you like as a new business owner, you have to hustle, right? Like there's no magic bullet with business ownership. But I think fear of course, fear of failure. And we talked about failure before. It's not really failing and stopping, it's just learning, and you have to kind of twist your mindset to say it's not failure, it's just I'm learning what not to do. So yeah, and I think and really I think you're your own biggest critic when it comes to something. Like I can look at the website that I just built and be like, oh, this is terrible, and then somebody would be like, wow, that's you look put together. Like I would never see any of the flaws that you see in something. So really, I think we're criticizing ourselves to a point where nobody would even really notice some of the things that we notice. So we kind of have to get over that hump and say, you know what, it's good enough for now, and I will come back and refine it. But yeah, I still have fears every single day and continue. And I would say some of the things that help me in keeping going is my affirmations. I say my affirmations, like I will make a statement like, I am good at this. I love myself. You know, there's so many tools that I use, and the 5-second rule, you know, when I'm like, I don't really feel like doing this, or I don't think I can do this, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it. And then you'll feel better after you start getting going. It's that first initial, like, ooh, I don't think I can do this. That's what's really going to hold you back. But if you just count down, and then start doing, you'll feel a lot better, and you'll get something done. You'll accomplish something, and it'll feel real good. So
I am starting to get more into affirmations because Grandma always said the power of life and death it lies or lives on the tongue, and that's so true. I strongly believe in speaking into existence what you can accomplish, what you think about yourself, and those things stick, right? Because you put it out into the universe, and then the universe has a way of making that come to life, come to truth. Universe, higher power, whatever you believe in or think, we put these things out, and then they become our realities. And a lot of that comes from you. If you put out negativity into the world, you can expect that that's what will adhere to you and find you. But if you put out positive things about yourself, you will see a difference in your own spirit, how you think about yourself, how you feel. And a lot of those feelings get put into motivation, which then gets put into action, which then you can use to do what it is that you want to do when you get these idea sparks.
Yeah, and they say whatever you think is true about yourself is true, or whatever you think, it is true. So like you said, with the negativity or with the positivity. And I, as you know me, I have written my affirmations down on sticky notes. In fact, on my laptop, I have a sticky note that says, I am productive. Even though sometimes I'm not. But when I look at that, it's a reminder and that says, you know, I am productive. I'm a productive person. So whatever you think about yourself, it is true.
100%. What would you say, how would you encourage our entrepreneurs, whether new or already in the hopper, how do they find their support system?
Again, sometimes these virtual communities are going to be one of the first things that you can turn to because as we know, maybe it might be within your own circle. There might be some negativity about, you know, oh, why would you spend your time away from me when, you know, doing this business when you're not even really sure what you're doing, you know? So I think some of the, even the ways that we're connected in the world now, right? You can hop on a Zoom and just, you know, like talk to somebody that's across the country. You know, I know that I've seen some virtual networking. I've seen, you know, there's so many Facebook groups out there. LinkedIn is a really great place to go. Books, podcasts, anything that you can fill your mind with will definitely change your perspective on, you know, going from what if to actually doing. So if you surround yourself with these things, that's what you will become.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say also
what are resources?
Resources for me, because I'm just such an in-person person. I like to test people, right, with my ideas. I like to put it forth. And let people know like what I'm doing. Not super in depth, just a general overview or a little synopsis. And your response to me will determine if I ever talk to you about it again. Because I need positivity. And I don't think I'm the type of person, like, I don't care if I think your idea is not going to work. I will still breathe light into it because it's you. That's what you believe in. And I, as a friend, a sister, a mentor, whatever, also need to funnel that positivity into it. I will give you advice the best way I know how in a positive direction. And I feel like sometimes we discuss things or we share things with people and they're so quick to point out the negative. And we're already battling internally with these things, right? And
but do you think that they're fearful for us? Or is it that, you know...
own personal projections. And that's why I make the determination to never discuss it with you again. Because I cannot have you project your insecurities on me. And 9 times out of 10, there's nothing I can do to change your perspective. And I won't waste my time trying to do so. I'll just talk to someone who's like-minded in my thinking.
That's definitely key.
So I will identify people who I think are like-minded in what I'm got going on, what I'm working on, and brainstorm with those people. Because we're operating now from a space of positivity. And even though what I might have brought to you might not be my final result, but brainstorming with you will make me understand this is where I can tweak. Maybe this is what I was initially thinking. I should go down this avenue. But just having the idea and the space to creatively brainstorm it speaks volumes for me.
Yeah.
Versus I say what I'm working on, what I'm passionate about, and you try to give me 101 reasons why I shouldn't do that. I can't entertain that conversation with you again. So I enjoy positive brainstorming, person to person.
Yeah, collaboration.
Whether that be on the phone,
Yeah.
whether that be in person.
Yeah.
I love speaking with people. I'm getting more into the virtual mentorship and understanding how similar I am with people who do podcasts and people who, you know, showcase their journey and talk about their past experiences, talk about their past failures or whatever way they made adjustments. I didn't know I could resonate with them as much as you literally can just by hearing someone's story. So I'm leaning into that more and more as I continue to build different businesses. But for me, it's always been like that in person and social media too. I've done a lot of LinkedIn networking. I have people that reach out to me and that I reach out to, but I've always been a community-based person. I know a lot of people. I enjoy social interactions. I enjoy that face-to-face conversation. So that's something that I would say I've leaned on heavily in my journey.
Yeah. And I think for me, you know, I have used the virtual mentor route where I'm like, okay, how did this person do this? How did they do that? And if this person can do this, I can do this. I say that a lot. Like, you know, I'm like, how, you know, every single person who started out at zero and figured it out along the way, figured it out and collabed and talked to people and just built. This is one saying that I keep saying a lot is building the airplane as it's flying. I don't even know where I got that one, but it's not my own original saying. I got it somewhere. But you're building the airplane as it's flying because you have to keep going and then just build it as you go. But I really do tell myself, I'm like, if these people can be successful, then I can be successful because we all were born with nothing and, you know, started at zero. So, yeah, so those are some of the resources that I use. Francine, what's a what if moment that you had in your own journey that eventually turned into let's do this?
I'm just trying to find one because there's so many. In my Bling Booze business, I got this idea just at a party. I saw that someone had like bedazzled like a bottle or whatever of alcohol, and I'm just like, I like customizations and I like playing with glittery stuff and shiny stuff. Like, I wonder if I could do this. And I started doing the research and I'm like, okay, so if I'm going to do this, how would I go about it? And then that's when I discovered you can't ship alcohol with like all these expensive licensing. And I sat on it for a while because that was my what if. Like, what if I start this business? Am I going to be shipping just empty bottles? And what would that look like? Would it be feasible for me, especially since I'm doing all this by hand? And then I decided, yes, I'm going to do it because there's so many people locally who would want this, you know, and I start thinking big, like maybe I can partner up with a club and we can offer the customization part of it as like part of bottle service and all these things. And I was bouncing it off a friend at the time who he owned a club and he's like, absolutely. Like people want that customization factor especially when they're booking things like bottle service and all this stuff. So my what if was, well, is it really going to work? Because I can't ship it. And, you know, shipping would mean that I could have more clientele. But then I realized that maybe this is something that I do want to keep at a small scale just because I'm doing it by hand and it takes a while. And then I can plan accordingly just in the local market. And that's how I ended up acting on that, like, and just understanding this is something that I should definitely keep locally just because I'm doing it by hand.
Yeah. And I think that it's really good that you said it's okay to keep it small. It's okay to keep it local. Because I think you told me that you find enjoyment. You get, some satisfaction out of actually doing this.
Sensory,
and so this is something that will help you even in your mental health too,
Correct.
Because you're just like, I'm relaxed doing this.
And I do them for weddings and birthdays and I'm not pumping them out every day. Yeah. So I can spend 2 days on one because I have planned in advance or someone that has booked in advance for me to make it. So it was something that I definitely started out thinking big, but then understood with the need in the market to just keep it a small scaled, personalized side hustle business type ordeal.
That's perfectly okay.
And it works fine.
Yeah, I love it.
Perfect. What is a game-changing tool or resource you would recommend for new entrepreneurs?
Well, for me, and I think that you would say this too, so I'll let you expand on this, but I use Notion in order.
Notion.
Or any kind of project management system. So there's a ton of them out there that are free. So I've started out with Asana. Google has Google Sheets. So again, if you open up that Gmail, it comes with Google Docs and Google Sheets. Even if you need to just get some thoughts out electronically, Google has all their free tools, right? So something that you can, I recommend something electronic. You can always use pen and paper, but electronic you can take on the go in an app, and when a thought hits you, all the thoughts are hitting us all the time, right? You can just whip out your app and say, I had this thought, right? But I have found Notion to be one of the best tools out there, where I can write down a task. I can enter in a task and have that be there and know that, I can check that off. It comes with databases and it's free, to use for one user. So I find that useful. What do you think? Have you liked Notion?
You were the one who introduced Notion to me because I am definitely a pen and paper type gal. And I think it has been so helpful just having the information in one place, and it also makes it easier for us to collab. It's a very good tool collaborative wise. Just when you do your brain dumps and I do mine, and just where we're going to house things and where we can find things has been great. I also enjoy using the Google Suite because I think it is very good collaborative wise. And even if you were to use it independently, I feel like you do need to keep your thoughts, your research somewhere electronically. Because my chicken scratch isn't always so good to read, even to me. And it just helps you be able to put those ideas out there and just keep it in a place that's easily accessible when you need it in certain situations. So I am now definitely a Notion promo person, just with keeping track of, our content, even our marketing,
our projects, tasks,
all those things. Not for you to be in my brain. I think it works well. So even for the systems that we've mentioned or not, just doing research and finding a system that you feel you can work in, and you might start in one and decide that you want to transfer to another, just all based on what you think works for you, but to be able to start with that organizational structure, it is important to get a database system that'll help you put all your hub of information into and have it accessible to you at your fingertips.
I agree. So, do you have a favorite book that has helped shape your mindset as a business owner? Like one that you can remember, or even maybe one that you aspire to read?
I am getting back into wanting to read books and listening to audiobooks. It's not something that I've done a lot, but what I can say is I watch a lot of videos on people's experiences, their journeys, how to set up things, generational wealth and things like that. But a lot of the times I'm operating from what I see in videos versus my experience. And then now with you giving me and providing me excerpts from what you've been reading and it piquing my interest in wanting to get back into reading, hard copy books and what's out there, because I didn't really know what to start, where to start from with finding a book that has to do with entrepreneurship, because there's so many.
There's a lot.
And it's like, I don't know, this might be boring. And just like, with that ADHD factor I have, it's like, am I really going to focus on this? Am I really going to concentrate on it? Like, is it intriguing to me? So just hearing the excerpts that you have when you're reading what you're reading makes me want to go and read them as well. So I would say definitely what you've been reading and what you've been sharing with me, but nothing specific that I was like, I read this book and I was like, woo, empowered. A lot of my motivation, media-wise or book-wise, comes from videos and people's experiences. Yeah. Not necessarily on podcast, but more like shorts and reels and snippets on social media and sometimes even posts, LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever of how people did what they did, because I like information in short spurts. You lose me when I feel like a book is going to take too long to get to the point for me. I just like, hey, I'm an entrepreneur and these are the steps that I took, and then I can dive into my own individual research at my pace to be able to understand what I need to understand, but I'm just like, I'm too spacey sometimes.
I love that though. I love the behind the scenes of other people's businesses. Like I even had that on my LinkedIn tagline, where I love to see the behind the scenes of other people's businesses. Like other people's Notions, oh my goodness. Like their Notion setup, I could go, deep dive into other people's Notion setup. And like if I see like a spreadsheet and somebody scrolling on a spreadsheet, I would be like, oh my gosh. Like stop it right now. Like I'll, like continually like, okay, what headers do they have? What information are they storing here? So I love seeing the behind the scenes of people's businesses.
And it gives you a real life view, because I feel like sometimes books can be unrealistic to the experience. Oh, for sure. But seeing that behind the scenes, it's like, okay, I did this and I messed up here. And then I readjusted and I went here, and I messed up here and I readjusted and I went here. And I feel like sometimes you don't get the flawed in the books. They're just telling you boom, boom, boom. This is this step, but they don't put the in-betweens. And for me, it's not something that I can identify with. Not saying that I'm not transitioning back into getting those ideas from books that I know are key and instrumental. Like I said, thanks to you and what you've been reading. Maybe my perception of books was a little skewed, and I want to be able to actually read more and then make that determination from a more factual standpoint.
I think books can sometimes become outdated, which is hard in how fast technology runs these days. But I think that number one, I think that if you find a book that is very foundationally sound, right, then it will be good for a long, long time. If you find a book that is based, like talks about social media, that's probably going to be outdated very fast. But there could be some foundational truths in there. But one of the books that I have been reading is called The E-Myth, and I have jumped around in there. So with books, though, I do tend to jump around sometimes. Like it's kind of rare that I will just read straight through, but I will look at the table of contents and say, okay, this looks interesting, and I'll kind of bounce around a little bit. And I have Kindle on my iPhone, so any kind of books, if I want to read, like in the if you want to read on the go, I have the book in ebook form. So so E-Myth, we're going to come back to that at some point. We're going to do some content on E-Myth. I really think that there's some foundational concepts in there about having a business that's systemized and I don't think that could ever go out of date.
Yes.
Is the systems part of having
Absolutely.
a business. So
For sure.
we'll come back to that.
Well, that kind of brings us to the end of our episode. Just giving you some ideas on where you can find us, how you can reach out to us. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Make sure and subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook. You can send us a message if you have any questions.
We want to hear from you.
We do. Yeah. We really want feedback.
Send us questions that you want us to answer.
And we will put them on the show. Yeah. We also have a networking event that we will be doing tomorrow, which unfortunately will be after before we actually air this video, but we are hoping to include some snippets from what we do at the B2B event that we're going to tomorrow for Black businesses.
I'm so excited.
Super excited. Got to figure out what we're going to wear and just put our pitch together because you only got 45 seconds, guys. You got to catch them and grip them.
But we do have our elevator pitch put together. So our mission, vision, and values and our elevator pitch came real quick. And so that we know what our business foundations are all about. So we have that ready to go.
I'm excited just to see different people, different businesses. I think it'll be great. I know the capital campaign that we did was super fun, super intriguing to get to know other people, and I'm pretty sure we'll see some of the same business owners that we saw over there. So I'm happy to kind of collab and just talk with people and put our brand and our business out there. I think it went well when we went to the Capitol. People could really identify with what we were pushing and what our mission is. So I'm super psyched.
So Francine.
Yes.
Do you know what topic we're going to talk about next episode?
Of course I do. Next episode is entitled Fear? Nah. Turning nervous energy into entrepreneurial superpower. And, working on that pit in your stomach that we've been talking about these last couple of episodes and actually going. The actionables, because here at Prosperous AFs, we're all about actionables. They are what get you to that place that you want to be. The realm of taking action is key and important in your entrepreneurial journey, but sometimes fear gets into the way of that. So you don't want to miss it. I guarantee you. That episode will be launching next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. And we'll be diving deep just kind of into what some of our fears were and how we turned that fear into A, superpower, and B, action.
I can't wait to talk about that.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Because there's so many fears associated with entrepreneurial, your entrepreneurial journey, and just...
I think that I might take some excerpts out of this book.
Oh, My Friend Fear.
Yeah.
Oh, Finding Magic in the Unknown.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. So this will come out, My Friend Fear, and it's a really pretty book too.
It is. It's super pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next week. Can't wait to see you guys back.
Can't wait.
Thank you for all the love and feedback that we've received just since launching the podcast, aka Vodcast.
Yeah.
And we're excited to do this every week. Like I said, we're coming raw and real. We will be providing some behind the scenes just of how we game plan our meetings and our networking events and just how we pre-plan for the week. So look out for that. Bloopers coming soon. You won't want to miss that. Especially if you want the story behind the crayons. Shower crayons are important. Maybe at some point we do a giveaway for shower crayons.
We should. I was actually thinking about doing a giveaway.
I think that'll be great.
The other day. Yeah.
Let us know in the comment section if you guys want some shower crayons. We will put together a getaway, and then we'll make sure and mail you some shower crayons. That should be the first tune of your entrepreneurial journey to get those ideas
Get
down.
them out of your head.
And out of your head.
That's right.
But till next time, we love ya. See ya soon. Prosperous AF out.
All right, come on. Let's give yourselves a hand for being here Monday morning. Website, you know larger companies that want more attention. You need to connect with him. You need more attention on your websites and CRMs. Some of y'all probably like, what is CRM? Y'all need to be connected with CRM.
That's right.